we are in bondage to the law in order that we may be free. We are slaves of the law. I'm a slave of the law. But why am I a slave of the law? So that I may be free. And sometimes free from the law itself. So I'm a slave of it. The better to secure my freedom, even from the idiosyncrasies and the predilections of the law itself. That's what it means to step out in order to step up and rethink, reorganize.
Wow, hello everyone, my dear lovely family, friend, fellow Africans. Botswana is going to set a new development transformation model, not to copy from other nations like Rwanda or from Malaysia. Botswana is going to set its own new development transformation model. Recently, the president of Botswana, President Duma Gideon Bok, has launched economic transformation program that will put plans into action. This time, the people of Africa are calling for action. So President Duma Gideon Boko is committed to bring about real transformation and reforms in Botswana. So family, friends, fellow Africans, during that lunch, President Boko has provided powerful speech, and this is what President Duma Gideon Boko has said. Listen and watch what President Duma has said. Welcome.
Barriers to progress of a regulatory nature, of an institutional nature, the configuration of the institutions themselves, and the processes by which they operate, their routinized patterns of thought and behavior. We're going to have to review these on the trot and change them if we are to make progress. And this is where some of the challenges arise. You meet resistance. Resistance because people are in their comfort zones. You are an expert if you're a lawyer, because this is how you understand the law. This is what it says in the books. And this is how it has been understood over generations. This is how it has been interpreted and enforced. And this is how you were trained. You were indoctrinated into these patterns and styles of thought. And so when you look at the law, your lens is famished already. You are a hostage, a willing hostage of the conventional and the commonplace. This is saying to us, we've got to step out of these comfort zones. It's uncomfortable. Step out in order to step up. So we're going to have to review, look at things differently. The laws, even how the laws are made. There's nothing magical. There's nothing divine about lawmaking. So we're going to have to look at all these things. And if we can do that about the law, to which people pay so much obeisance, then we shouldn't have a problem in relation to anything else. And this is what we always said when we were learning jurisprudence. My students, I see many of them here, those that I shared these thoughts with, the lady from Caesar and others. We signal that the time for ideas alone has passed, and now it is time for delivery. This is the primary message and theme that must sink into our collective conscience from here forward. Just a few weeks ago at the Strategic Cabinet Workshop, I reminded the nation that the old ways will not take us to a future that we all desire, a future of prosperity, inclusivity, and rapid economic growth in which everyone, without exception, benefits meaningfully. That message still rings true today. It cannot be business as usual. We gather here today not to tinker around the margins or the edges, but to set in motion the solemn and hard work of transformation. I'm pleased to announce that at the Strategic Cabinet Workshop, to which I've alluded, we reached a consensus on the development direction we ought to take as a nation. Cabinet aligned around a bold and inspiring vision, our true north. That true north envisions a high-income status Botswana that is digitally enabled, export-driven, people-centric, and economically diversified. A Botswana in which every citizen enjoys equal opportunity, is employed, empowered, and fulfilled. That's our true north. A high-income status Botswana that is digitally enabled, export-driven, people-centric, and economically diversified. A Botswana in which every citizen enjoys equal opportunity, is employed, empowered, and fulfilled. This true north is the yardstick by which we will now measure every reform, every regulation, every program. From now onward, practical steps will be taken to ensure that all our policies enable, not hinder, our journey to reach that true north. The strategy comprises expert-led processes which are implementation-based and focus on specific actions and deliverables by various government ministries and agencies, including parastatals and state-owned enterprises. We must rally behind this vision, united and with the requisite discipline and urgency. The true north is now our compass. The time for fragmentation is over, and the time for aligned delivery has begun. Guided by data and economic rigor, Cabinet also identified catalytic sectors where Botswana has clear comparative advantages and where investment and reforms can unlock rapid, inclusive growth. We enumerate these as: 1, agriculture, to ensure the attainment of food security, rural development, and agro-industrial opportunities. We need to raise agriculture's contribution to the GDP from the present levels of 2% to at least 6% in the immediate term. Next, manufacturing to boost value addition, job creation, and regional export capacity. The third, infrastructure as a foundation for all growth, especially in transport, logistics, and utilities. We must be intentional about positioning our country as the best logistics hub in the SADC region. in terms of surface transportation and air transportation. Air transportation, we are strategically located. Geography has conspired in our favor, and we must take full advantage of the conspiracies of divinity that have placed us in the strategic geolocation in which we are as a country. People travel from places, fly over Botswana to get to places far in order to return here when they are visiting. They need to ensure they fly straight, as the crow does, to our country. We cannot hope to achieve this unless we build robust, climate-resilient infrastructure. Next, financial services and digitalization. We need to position Botswana as a modern, smart economy and a regional fintech hub. The next is tourism. Our natural heritage must be harnessed for sustainable growth and cultural identity. Next, we have energy, water, and mining, with a push towards renewable energy, water sufficiency and distribution, mining diversification, and downstream beneficiation. And last, just in the ordering, but by no means least, social sectors, education, healthcare, and social protection, because no nation can transform if its people are left behind. Radical reforms are needed to build the best healthcare program and transform the education system, both in terms of curriculum and methods of delivery. Radical reforms. Sometimes I use the word revolutionary, meaning the actions are going to be convulsive, going to create some convulsions, shocks. These actions are time-bound. They are compressed in time. We're not going to go on inordinately. I've said 3 years. That's the time frame. It's urgent. And revolutionary also means they are concentrated in target. These actions must deliver targets that we've identified. And others will always say, these targets are impossible. When I said, and I maintain, intransigently for that matter, that Botswana Railways, Air Botswana, Botswana Agricultural Marketing Board, BMC, will be profitable by the end of this year. I maintain that intransigently. Why? Because the evidence that confronts us shows us that there is demand for bulk transportation. These trucks that you see transporting goods tell us that there's a solid business case for Botswana Railways. Massive. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And so sometimes I shudder when people say These targets are impossible to achieve. In the land of snipers, the target is never the problem. The target is not the problem. There obviously are variables. There's the wind, there's the distance, there's the lighting, there's the noise, distractions, everything is there. But the sniper sitting behind that weapon understands that there's a point at which you must close out everything and listen to your heartbeat and focus on the target and pick that precise moment when you pull the trigger. And so your success in hitting the target does not depend on the target and all these other variables. Always depends on the person behind the rifle. What does this person believe is possible? If you go behind that weapon and you sit there and you say this target is impossible to hit, you've failed already. So I approach all these matters by understanding that the problem is not the target. And if the target is too easy to attain, it is not a target for me. I want one that pushes me out of my comfort zone, that causes me to think deep, agonize long and hard, sweat blood. If you haven't reached the point of sweating blood, you haven't started. So let's all get ready to sweat blood. These sectors that we've identified are not random. They are strategic, deliberate, and are where our true north will become tangible. The BETP labs that we are launching today represent a critical turning point in our journey toward a high income status economy. As I said at the launch of the program, gone are the days of abstract strategies and noble intentions buried in mountains of reports. Today, we pivot from vision to velocity and from ambition to action. For decades, we have leaned and relied heavily on diamonds. While they served us well, we now painfully have realized that this model is nearing its end. Rising youth unemployment, underutilized talent, and untapped potential threaten our cohesion as a society. This is no longer just an economic challenge. It is a national, social, existential threat that impels us to address and correct. Over the next 4 weeks, these labs will be the engine room of the economic transformation program. Each of our 9 priority sectors, 6 of them economic and 3 social labs, will run focused sessions to sharpen promising project concepts, to design detailed, bankable implementation roadmaps, to set clear KPIs and annual targets, and most importantly, to identify and remove the real barriers to progress, be they regulatory, institutional, or logistical. Let me pause here to reflect with you. Barriers to progress of a regulatory nature, of an institutional nature, the configuration of the institutions themselves, and the processes by which they operate, their routinized patterns of thought and behavior. We're going to have to review these on the trot and change them if we are to make progress. And this is where some of the challenges arise. You meet resistance. Resistance because people are in their comfort zones. You are an expert if you're a lawyer, because this is how you understand the law. This is what it says in the books. And this is how it has been understood over generations. This is how it has been interpreted and enforced. And this is how you were trained. You were indoctrinated into these patterns and styles of thought. And so when you look at the law, your lens is famished already. You are a hostage, a willing hostage of the conventional and the commonplace. This is saying to us, we've got to step out of these comfort zones. It's uncomfortable. Step out in order to step up. So we're going to have to review, look at things differently. The laws, even how the laws are made. There's nothing magical. There's nothing divine about lawmaking. So we're going to have to look at all these things. And if we can do that about the law, to which people pay so much obeisance, then we shouldn't have a problem in relation to anything else. And this is what we always said when we were learning jurisprudence. My students, I see many of them here, those that I shared these thoughts with, the lady from Caesar and others. We are in bondage to the law in order that we may be free. We are slaves of the law. I'm a slave of the law. But why am I a slave of the law? So that I may be free. And sometimes free from the law itself. So I'm a slave of it. The better to secure my freedom, even from the idiosyncrasies and the predilections of the law itself. That's what it means to step out in order to step up and rethink, reorganize. So this is what we are going to be doing. This is not just theoretical work. It is surgical, hands-on, and delivery-focused execution planning. These labs will zero in on high-impact, high-growth potential projects and solve existing implementation bottlenecks. Key amongst these, we will be dealing with regulatory and policy support, land access and allocation, licensing and facilitation, investment matching, skills and labor pipeline development, infrastructure enablement. We are putting these issues on the table, not so we can discuss them endlessly, but so that we can resolve problems decisively. The truth is that these labs will not be easy, and that's exactly the point. Tough decisions will need to be made. Not every project will survive the scrutiny of the labs. Some will be strengthened, some merged, and others dropped entirely. But as I said before, this is not failure, it is focus. We must resist the temptation to be sentimental. We must be surgical. We are not here to preserve ideas. We are here rather to implement solutions that deliver measurable outcomes. Pemandu's Big Fast Results model has been implemented successfully elsewhere. In Malaysia, private investment more than doubled within 5 years. In Rwanda, a similar transformation agenda changed the very economic DNA of the country. These examples show what is possible when ambition meets discipline. But we do not seek to copy. We aim to build our own Botswana model, grounded in our values, our talent, and our priorities. This is our moment to end fragmentation, to discard silo thinking, and to work as one government, guided by one vision. I have said before, and I say it again, success will depend on how we collaborate across ministries, make quick and informed decisions, and maintain the discipline to execute. There is no room for hesitation. There is no room for vacillation. The world is moving. Markets are shifting. Technology is evolving. And capital is flowing, but only to those ready to receive it. Botswana must be ready. To all our public officials, private sector leaders, civil society voices, and our young innovators, Botswana needs your best work now. Bring not only your ideas, but your willingness to act, to collaborate, and to compromise where necessary. As we said during the call for ideas, which has received thousands of submissions, the energy for change exists. Now we must match that energy with execution. The Botswana Economic Transformation Program is more than just a plan. It is a new delivery culture, one that will make government and its institutions accountable, not just for planning, but for performance. From now on, ministries and agencies will not operate on vague mandates, but on specific time-bound targets. Accountability will not only be symbolic, it will be measurable. And I close by speaking directly to the people of Botswana, especially our youth. This government hears you. All the demands that you make, including the demand for 2,500, we hear you. We see your plight and predicament. We see the unemployment. We feel the urgency, and we are acting not with words, but with work. The labs we launch today will lay the foundation for a future where opportunity is no longer a promise but a reality. This is our commitment with your trust and your participation. We will not fail. Let us make these labs the launchpad for a new Botswana, one that leads not in potential but in performance. Let us rise to the occasion and move with clarity, courage, and conviction. The time is now. The work begins. The transformation is ours to deliver. We take bold strides, our gaze firmly fixed on a future that is spectacularly different, that defies all entrenched methods, suppositions, and presuppositions. that frees us from the conventional and the commonplace, that takes us into the realm yonder, the realm of the imagination. This is a jailbreak of the imagination. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the privilege of your company here today and the pleasure of your kind attention. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome back, family, friend, fellow Africans. That is the power of speech delivered by the president of Botswana, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko. It is real that President Gideon Boko is committed to bring real transformation, real changes in the country of Botswana. It is possible because if we are serious with what we want as Africa, we can achieve. And this time, President Boko is demonstrating that it is possible. If Burkina Faso can do it, why not Botswana? If Malaysia can do it, why not Botswana? If Arab countries, Dubai, and these United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Qatar can do it with little resources that they have, why not Botswana with huge resources, with diamond? Why not African countries? So President Duma Boko is going to set a new milestone for the people of Botswana as well as to the continent of Africa in by establishing a new development transformation model. President Boko is taking the same steps taken by Captain Ibrahim Traore, where all citizens will participate. To those who have energy will participate. Those who have bags of cement, even a single bag, will contribute. Those who have small amount will contribute. Those who have skills and knowledge, they will contribute. And that's what President Duma Boko is said, that every person in Botswana will contribute in national building. So this has started in Botswana. We saw people in Botswana, in Burkina Faso, even in Rwanda, we saw people in the streets cleaning environment in Kigali. It is possible. So if Rwanda can do it, if Burkina Faso can do it, if Mali can do it, why not Botswana? Why not other African nations? That's the question that we have been asking for a long time. If Europeans can develop, if Chinese can develop, we remember that Chinese was in the same level with some African countries during in 1960s, but today China has surpassed us. China has lifted millions of Chinese from poverty. So when Chinese have no resources like Africa, and they have been uplifting their people through African resources. So we need as Africans to question ourselves where we fail and why we cannot do like others, and where we made mistakes. So if we can do like that, I hope Africa can move in the right direction. So family, friend, fellow Africans, it's my hope that the people of Botswana will join President Duma Gideon Boko. As you heard, President Duma is against these colonial laws. We have laws that sometimes restricting us from transformation. We have these laws that we have inherited from other people during maybe independence, that make Africans to stay rigid, that we cannot do because we inherited laws from our founding fathers or from our fathers or from our grandfathers or grandmothers. So this time we are saying we want to transform these laws that are sometimes become an obstacle of our development. If you look, many of our laws in the continent of Africa, there's some laws that are restricting Africans to own resources. But when others are coming through companies, through this what we call investment, they're taking resources. You see? So President of Botswana, President Duma Boko, has refused to be a slave of laws, and he said open that he is going to transform and to change those laws, because nothing is impossible, and these laws has been created by men or women, men. So it is created by citizens. So it is the time for Africans to find best ways of creating laws that will defend Africans. And of course, the environment has been changed. So we need to have laws that will support what we want as Africa. We hope President Bok will succeed, and it will not be an easy journey. We know he has already started a campaign to fight corruption, and we know that through corruption, there are those who will try to sabotage and trying to undermine what President Boko is doing. But if citizens of Botswana will join force, will come together and support their leader, I hope in the next 5 years, Botswana will be in another stage, not in this stage where we see people in Botswana still suffering, struggling. If Africans in Botswana will support their leader, President Boko. But apart from that, for President Boko to achieve, he must also come with ideas of working together with neighboring nations, like in the SADC region, like Namibia, of course we have seen, Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa. But I know that in South Africa it is a little bit difficult, because South Africa still has these colonial mentalities, especially to those who controlling economy. You know, in South Africa, it's about minority who are controlling and controlling economy or means of production. These are white minorities in South Africa. So if President Boko can work properly with neighboring countries like, as I said, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Mozambique, I hope Botswana can achieve, not only to Botswana, all African nations. One thing that we lack, we have good plans, we have good ideas. The problems that we lack working together. Maybe there's some, we don't have capacities in Botswana. We can find capacity in Namibia. We can find capacities in Mozambique, in Angola, or in neighboring countries. If we can work like that, I hope Africa can move in the right direction. And we need leaders who are so visionary, who are thinking about the future of this continent, and leaders who can bring changes in this continent. So family, friends, fellow Africans, I have no more to share on that. And if you have something to share with us, please do so through the comment section. Make sure that you share your thoughts, so that we can understand what you feel and what you think. And if you have an input also, can help us to collect good solutions, or to find best solutions for our challenges. So family, friends, fellow Africans, up to that, let me say one thing: stay in power. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make Africa great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.